Hong Kong Direct is your weekly racing roundup full of news, views, interviews, previews and special guests. And coming up on the show today, our search continues for the new stars arriving here in Hong Kong. Today, we take a trip to the Northern Hemisphere to find 4 to follow for the season. And were there more questions than answers? HKR clues possibly out of last weekend's 2 feature races, 2 Group 2s there. And we'll finish with, well, is anyone riding better in Hong Kong at the moment, or the world? I saw that discussion on social media this week. Zac's top 3 wins. He's ridden 8 winners in the last 2 meetings here in Hong Kong. He's absolutely throwing. He's flying. He's picked out his 3 best. So very warm welcome to the show. As always, I'm Andrew Lejeune. A couple of weeks ago, you might remember Ed Sadler gave us some horses to follow from the Southern Hemisphere. Well, another friend of the show, Graham Cunningham, used to work here in Hong Kong, now perfectly placed back in the UK to find us 4 to follow from the Northern Hemisphere.
Hi everyone, hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to a cold and drizzly UK in Hong Kong. It's that time when trainers start to look under the bonnet of a few new models and hope they've got a Ferrari rather than a Ford. I've got 4 horses, imports from Europe to name, and the first of them is a horse called Imperial Yellow. He's by a real up-and-coming sire in New Bay. He was trained in Newmarket by Roger Varian. He won 3 from 6 for Roger, and his last success, which came at Newmarket in the summertime, was really impressive with winners behind. He's got plenty of speed. That Newmarket win was over 6 furlongs, but he should stay 1,400 metres, a mile, with no difficulty. He'll probably start off light for David Hayes at the top of Class 3, maybe at the bottom of Class 2, but either way, Imperial Yellow is a name to note this season in Hong Kong. Right, let's talk about a horse called SJ Tourbillon, formerly Roman Empire, and a horse with an intriguing profile. By Galileo, trained by Aidan O'Brien in Ireland, and excelled at Royal Ascot. That sound a familiar profile? Well, that was the profile that Russian Emperor had when he went to Hong Kong 12 months ago. Russian Emperor nearly snagged the Hong Kong Derby. I'm not saying that SJ Tourbillon can do the same, but he progressed really well in the summertime, and he ran a great race, win second in the Hampton Court Stakes, despite being badly hampered late on. He's trained by Ricky Yu now. He's already had a few gallops, and he's got a Hong Kong rating. It's a challenging rating of 84. That may not make life easy over 1,400 or even a mile, but by the time he gets out over 1,800, or maybe even the Derby distance of 2,000 metres, we should see the best of Roman Empire. Correction, SJ Tourbillon. I'm going to take a 2 for the price of 1 approach to my last European segment this year, purely and simply because both horses were trained in Newmarket by champion trainer John Gosden. The first is a horse called Rifleman, and Rifleman has a colourful history. He went into Ryan Moore's bad books when he jinked and dumped Ryan on the ground when running well at Sandown in the spring. But he was gelded a few weeks later, and he came back to win a really strongly contested handicap at York's Ebor Festival in good style on his final British start in August. He's joined Ricky Yu, he's had a few canters, and he's a horse with plenty of ability. People may remember that York handicap as the one that was won by a horse called Urban Aspect a few years ago. Urban Aspect went to Hong Kong, he became Kai Ying Star, and as we know, he's been at or near the top of the miling division for a good while now. If this horse Rifleman can do half of what Kai Ying Star has done, he'll be a great buy. Keep an eye on Rifleman for Ricky Yu. Second Gosden horse we're going to talk about is a horse called Turin Red Sun. Really well-bred Dubawi gelding, who was known as Mithras in his Gosden days, and he progressed really well, winning a nice Newbury handicap under Franco Dettori, then running a great race, 6th, 29 I think, in Royal Ascot's Britannia Stakes. We all know the Britannia tends to be a great springboard for Hong Kong, and Mithras ran even better than the results suggest. 2 groups, 14 on the far side. Mithras battled on well to be second in that group. The only horse ahead of him on the far side was Dubai Honor, who almost won the Group 1 Champion Stakes back at Ascot last weekend. He's joined Douglas White, is galloping away for Jerry Chow in the mornings, and I think he has a bright future. We know he stays a mile, but he should stay further. European imports haven't managed to win the Derby, the Hong Kong Derby, since Designs on Rome in 2014, I think. Those Aussies, those Kiwis, those Chileans are pretty hard to beat nowadays. But it's time for another European import to win the BMW Hong Kong Derby. Maybe, just maybe, it's going to be one of these four. Good luck.
Great stuff. Thanks, Graham. Maybe, yes. We'll keep an eye on them. One horse to note, actually, that runs this weekend, having his first start, is Beauty Glory. Used to be with Jer Lyons. He had one start as a 3 or 1 on the all-weather. He looks good in race 7. And Ed's horses to follow from a couple of weeks ago, Captain Spud was one of them. He's now Captain Win. He makes his debut this weekend as well for David Hall in race number 9. So look out for those two this weekend. Now we're going to look back to last weekend. It was Oriental Watch Sha Tin Trophy. They look back on the 2 feature races. The Sha Tin Trophy favourite there was Derby winner Sky Darcy. We'll start off with the Premier Bowl, though. Favourite here was the unbeaten Courier Wonder, making his seasonal return.
Lucky Patch has gone to the lead. Stronger, Super Wealthy to the inside. Lucky Patch is in front. Super Wealthy ahead away. Lucky Patch and Zac. Yes! Lucky Patch has beaten Super Wealthy.
It always looked hard from the barrier. The way the race is going to be run with the speed in it. I couldn't see myself getting in anywhere, but we rode to try and get in somewhere. Just if the cards fell our way, we would be lucky. And to be honest, I was caught wide with no cover for the most part of it. It took me a long time to be able to get in, to get a little bit of cover. But then he travelled into it strongly and let down nicely. And when he got to the front, he idled a little bit. So I think, you know, you can take nothing away from that performance.
Panfield's going a massive race first up. Then White Cuckoo, Columbus County, Panfield, Tourbillon Diamond, Car Ying Star. Then White Cuckoo still trying to get out. Panfield is in front. He's a half a length. Tourbillon Diamond, Precious Ship with a late run. Panfield in front. It's a Group 2 for Turbo Teton. Panfield won it.
If I could say anything, you know, I think he's a little bit more forward than what I would have thought, because, you know, we were getting him ready for the Melbourne Cup. So, you know, he was a little bit further forward than what he would have normally been. But certainly, you know, today he took out, you know, most of the top milers in Hong Kong, you know, barring the best horse, you know, horse of the year. He wasn't here today. But yeah, he's a really honest type of a horse, and a nice hard-knocking horse.
There's a bit of class about him, Panfield, as well. So he's looking at either the Cup or the Vase on International Day. Lucky Patch, the Sprint, whether Zac Purton will ride him, or Hot King Prawn, who's yet to return, and Wellington's yet to come back as well. And of course, Golden 60. He'll be back at the end of the month, Golden 60 in the Jockey Club Mile, the main lead-up race there. So we're about 3 weeks away from that. As far as the diary is concerned, well, it's the Chinese General Chamber of Commerce Cup. It's a bit of a mouthful coming up this weekend. We're back at Sha Tin on Wednesday night. 8 races on the all-weather and 1 of 2 day meetings then at Happy Valley coming up on the following Sunday, where they're not too far away from the Starside Ladies Purse, which has served as some sort of lead up to HKR as well, and then we'll work towards Panasonic Cup and then the main trial races at the end of November when Golden 60 will return, all things being equal. Looking forward to that. Right, we're going to leave you this week, as I mentioned at the start, Zac Purton absolutely flying at the top of the jockey's title race at the moment. 4 wins at Sha Tin, then 4 at Happy Valley from just 7 rides on Wednesday night. So we'll finish with his top 3. Probably should have been top 4, shouldn't it? But enjoy this. We'll see you again on Sunday, bringing all the action from Hong Kong direct to you.
Hi everyone, Zac Purton here, and these are my 3 favourite wins in Hong Kong. And in no particular order, I really enjoyed the win on Beauty Generation in the Hong Kong Mile. He beat International Field that day. To do it as easy as he did, and the feel he gave me, it was an exceptional performance, and one that I really enjoyed.
This is 100% pure Group 1 power. Beauty Generation 5 in front. Viv Lawson, Southern Legend. He is invincible, Beauty Generation.
My next favourite moment was winning the Vase on Exultant. To be headed in a Group 1 race and to come back and fight like he did, which was one of the great characters that he had, and get up to beat Liz Grishow, who went on to win a Cox Plate. And yeah, Wildgeist, the ARC winner, back in the field. I thought that was a great performance and one of the best staying performances I've seen here in Hong Kong.
It's Exultant and Lise Grishow, clear from Azira, then Pakistan, Star and Eagle Way. Exultant and Lise Grishow, a real cliffhanger in the Vase. Exultant fights back and wins for Hong Kong.
And I'm not going to forget my old mate, Aero Velocity. To travel the world with him, to bring Paulo Sullivan's stable back from the brink, back to the top. When we all rode him off and we thought he wasn't able to win and he was too old, he picked himself up. He showed all the fight and the courage that he had to throw himself over the line in his swan song victory. It was an amazing moment to see the emotion in the owner's eyes when I watched the video back after that race, and the emotion Paul was able to show as well. It was a touching moment and one that I'll always remember.
Aero Velocity from Penophobia. Lucky Bubbles on the scene late. Aero Velocity in front. Lucky Bubbles trying to reach him. Aero Velocity, what a grand 8-year-old he is. He takes his second sprint.